All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Phone Booth Fighting. Myself, Richard Hunter, and that guy, Frank Muir. And these days, we have to tape these in between training sessions, which brings me to a point of some breaking news, Frank. You have a different opponent. What happened?
I don't know. I guess I need to call Tarver up and be like, hey, man, you leaving on a stretcher was just me trying to sell the fight. I mean, it'll be a wheelchair, dude, not a stretcher. I mean, it's a wheelchair. They circle people to the back and take you to the hospital. I doubt a stretcher. You know what I mean? So I think maybe he got a little nervous and.
Hey, listen. As an old guy who tried to fight once or twice, I am well aware of the fact that there are increased regulations, you know, once you get to be a certain age. But I was not aware of the particulars of the Georgia structure, because what I was reading about it was if you're over 50 and you're going to be licensed, I guess, for a professional fight, but if you're over 50, you have to have fought at least 10 times in the last decade. And he's fought 5 times in the last decade. Did you ever heard anything about that?
No.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, still, I mean, the fighter at his level, I think the concessions could be made. I don't know. I mean, but, you know, Georgia, look, athletic commissions are there for the safety of the fighters. It's really what they're in the business of, so I get it. But, I mean, as fighters, we're not really in for the safety of ourselves. We put competition first. So, you know, look, we have opposite goals, but I respect it. And, you know, obviously I'm not happy about it. The new opponent's not as famous as Tarver. Doesn't have the same, you know, but as far as it was a champion in a heavier weight class. And so, you know, still a dangerous fight.
Yeah, he also, as you mentioned, a former champion, cruiserweight champion, a record of 39-9. Oh no, a 29-9, 39 total fights, 29-9, 13 wins by KO. Fought Antonio Tarver to a draw back in 2015. He's also fought Tyson Fury. He lost to Tyson Fury, but apparently, yeah, I was going to say, impressed Tyson Fury so much that Tyson Fury made him part of his training camp after that. And actually read a quote from Tyson Fury saying that Steve Cunningham was the toughest opponent of his career. So there's something. Yeah. Okay. So different opponent. I mean, anything other, I just kind of covered the overview. Anything you've noticed as far as a difference in style or anything like this? I'm sure you looked at this guy.
Oh, I mean, obviously the biggest thing is fighting a right-handed person, not a left-handed person.
Mm-hmm.
So the sparring partners, everybody had to switch it up, you know, which, you know, all the right-handed guys that were having to fight left-handed are happy. All the guys that are natural lefties, grab baby, please, for me. She's just been barking the whole time. They're not happy.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he's always in really good shape, so he's going to be able to push the pace. Different than, you know, Tarver, who I felt was going to fight at a slower pace and try to be more sniper-like and more strategic, which I was really, you know, which worked out to my benefit in this situation because I've really worked on my conditioning for this for the fight like I never have before, knowing that, you know, trying to fight Tarver in a slow, methodical, pure strategy boxing match was going to be his best opportunity to win. So I wanted to increase the pace, but I'd have to be in shape to do so. So at least here in this situation, even though I don't think that that's because of the kind of fight I need to make for Cunningham, but Cunningham pushes a pace. He's a grinder. He comes forward. Good. His defense, he doesn't really make you miss, which I think is going to be one of the things that hurts him a little bit in this fight. He likes to picky boo. You know, he keeps his gloves up high on his forehead. You know, he takes a lot of shots on the arms and tries to fire back immediately, especially with the right hand. That defense, I don't think is going to do as well for him against somebody who outweighs him as much as I do, because even me hitting him in the forearms and the hands, one, it helps me still set up combinations and I don't get fatigued from missing. Missing punches is the worst because it's fatigue-wise. And also, too, it allows me still to inflict damage even if it's not the knockout shot, it still wears on you to get beat up, on the arms. And then he has a really good jab, steps in hard, but me being a southpaw, and you saw that in the Tarver fight, it's not easy to jab with a southpaw. Our hands kind of cancel each other out as far as leads. So we'll see what he has to do to try to, to remedy that. Not the greatest fighter on the inside, which is an area that I've actually been working a ton on. So we'll see. That's one area I want to bring the fight. It's what I wanted to do with Tarver too, is really just, the guy's older, and I just want to go to the body early in the fight and consistently, and try to see if really my goal. I mean, and I'm not saying this even just to sell tickets. Just, I've gotten to break arms in competitions of jiu-jitsu. From heel hooks, I've broken legs, popped knees, ripped ACLs. I've never broken anybody's ribs with a punch, and I've done it with a knee in practice. But as far as in competition, it'd be nice to. I just want to break someone's ribs. Like
you don't want life to feel incomplete.
No, I mean, just there's certain things that you have to get done in life, and I feel as a man, hitting another man in the body and crushing his rib cage should be on the bucket list.
Sure. What obviously it's a boxing match. There's no grappling involved or anything like that. But that being said,
there's no grappling involved. There's a different.
Well, no, because you can tie up. So this is what I was going to say. Is there something to be like? Do you think somehow there is an advantage to coming from your background? Something about, I mean, in those tie-up moments, but just the body movement, muscling body. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%. No, when I actually, and it's really helped me develop a much better body work than most of my boxing compadres that I train with that are good body boxers, but they don't get the same positions and angles that I get, because I know how to pull your tricep up to expose your foot, which then exposes your balance, which then if you try to get your balance back, I know what's going to open up on you because of years of doing takedowns. Hold on.
Yes.
I got the small dog.
You got your hype dogs there in the background. Now I hear
it's just baby. Hers is just a yappy one. But anyways,
yeah.
And also too, because I've done jiu-jitsu and grappling, Bella's still wrestling. So I grappled all the way until 4 weeks ago, and I haven't really noticed the lack of my wrestling as far as conditioning leaving me in my sparring rounds. So when I spar people, if anything, the more tired I get sparring on the outside, I'm actually able to hang on people, throw punches and beat them up and grind, keep my forehead pushed against their ear, driving them back and beating them up. It doesn't fatigue me like I've seen it fatigue other guys that are pure boxers, just because of the amount of time I've wrestled in over the years. There's a certain I try to explain this to people like, look, I don't care how great a shape you are, if you're just learning how to swim, and some guy was an Olympic level swimmer, hasn't trained in 2 years, jumps in the pool, he's going to outswim you. He's going to have more economy of motion. He's going to not maybe be in shape for him or in shape compared to another high level swimmer, but because his body's done it for so long, there's a certain efficiency. And that's when, what grappling over the years has done to me. And just there's a certain efficiency I have that in that position in the clinch, I can push at a higher pace than most people that don't have that background.
Yeah. And I would think that would be a surprise to those guys, because if you think about it, they probably have not spent a lot of time sparring MMA fighters. They've been sparring other boxers because the MMA fighters had other priorities. So that is an interesting element to this. The other interesting element to this Triller card coming up on April 17th is the bands that have been booked. Now, I sent this to you because I was wondering if Bella had heard that Justin Bieber was performing. That had to have been met favorably in the Mir household?
That was very good news.
Yeah. So I've heard of Justin Bieber. Now I looked at some of the other folks that are playing here. Snoop Dogg, we know Snoop Dogg. Let's see. Boy, you talk about a guy who, how it started versus how it's going. Are you old enough to remember when Snoop Dogg got tried for murder? I am.
That was back in the 90s, right? Like
it was a long time ago, but still. I mean, now he's America's lovable rapper on game shows and commercials. Anyway,
I saw a meme the other day, it's probably a little bit longer, where it showed, I think it was Martha Stewart in a match with Snoop Dogg. They're like, which one of these guys, if you think, has been to jail?
Yeah, right.
Martha
Right.
Stewart did, the insider trading shit. So
that's right. Diplo, Doja Cat. I don't know them. The Black Keys. Now this is a band I'm on board with. The Black Keys. So that's something I would be interesting to see. And I don't know who Saweetie is, but when I mentioned Saweetie, Jennifer got very excited. She knew who this is. So, man, I tell you what, I hope they're paying you, because this guy is putting a lot of money into that. Like, I mean, this is a big investment. Are you?
It's huge. It's been a big deal. That's why I kind of wish there was actually tickets to the general public was more available.
Yeah,
I think it would be an awesome opportunity to get everybody together. But I have a lot of friends and family that want to go, but obviously I'm limited to how many tickets I get. So,
Right. What do you think about this? I don't know if we talked about this. So you and I were having a hard enough time trying to figure out who Jake Paul was, besides being the YouTube guy. But he takes on Ben Askren. He's taking on a guy, a wrestler not known for his striking, etc. But still, I mean, Jake Paul's, as far as I can tell, biggest boxing accomplishment was knocking out another. What was that guy? Were you playing the NBA or something like that? Yeah. What I mean, just I don't know if you have any thoughts to Jake Paul himself or anything like this, but I mean, just he's a young guy, 24 years old, but just in terms of this idea of kind of jumping from, what is really amateur exhibition type boxing to, I'm going to take on a highly decorated professional MMA fighter, whether they're a striker or not. What do you think?
I actually am very impressed, and I know a lot of people want to be haters on the kid, but I'm actually impressed with him because he's doing exactly what I want everybody else to do. I think right now we have a culture of people that are not warriors. We're couch bound or computer table chair bound. We never go outside. We don't play sports. We're into avoiding adversity. Uncomfortable situations. We got to worry about everybody's feelings. I mean, everything about this world now, our society, our culture is making people softer and weaker. And I'm a big fan of sports in general for, making people better. I mean, that's why I push athletics on my children so much. I think being a scholar athlete is very important, being not only somebody who's intelligent and can think for themselves with critical thought, but also somebody who's physically fit and capable of being an asset to society and to their family. And so, walking into the boxing arena, I'm very impressed because this not an easy sport to want to jump into. But he puts in the time. You can watch on videos. The kid works out. He trains hard. He takes it seriously. If he was making a mockery of boxing, showed up out of shape, gets knocked out in 2 seconds, didn't train, then I might jump on the bandwagon and say, hey, you're giving fighting a bad name, a bad rap. You're putting your health at risk. You're being a bad example. But I mean, for all his fan base out there, people that are watching him, kids are going to emulate him now and go, oh, look, I want to sign up for the local gym. Maybe I'll join the high school wrestling team. Maybe I'll sign up for jiu-jitsu or MMA courses. I'm going to also try to put myself out there and be physically fit. And boxing is a phenomenal sport to be involved in because of the one-on-one nature of the competition. You've trained for a fight. You're fighting yourself. It makes you a better person. There's all these things that come along with it that I want everybody who's capable to train. I don't think everybody has to be a professional fighter, but I think everybody should have a certain prowess of health and abilities as a martial artist. And it just makes society better. I hate when I see a guy who just is a devout Second Amendment guy, but he's 100 pounds overweight. And, and if you walk up the stairs, you might have fucking heart attack, I'm like, how much of an asset are you really? You know what I mean? Like you couldn't run into cover without having a heart attack. And so Paul doing these things, I'm for it. I think it's way more positive. I don't really see any drawback to it or any negativity because of the approach he takes with it. And a lot of eyes are on him. And he is taking on a former world champion. Even if it wasn't in his sport, it's not an easy fight to take on Askren.
Right.
Yeah, Askren might not be known as the greatest boxer because it was never necessary. His wrestling was leaps and bounds above everybody he ever fought. That's what amassed the record that he had in the championships, and so was his wrestling ability. But he's also someone who's competed so many times through wrestling, through MMA, that if Jake doesn't get him out of there early and catch him and hurt him, as the fight wears on, even though the Jake Paul could be physically fit as all hell, he's still not used to competition the way that Askren is. So as that fight wears on, he's going to get more tired. Look, his heart rate's going to be no lower than 145 at any time during that fight, even resting. Askren's is going to be 110, 115 when he's resting. That adds up, and no matter how great a shape you're in, if the other guy's more relaxed and more, efficient, he's going to last longer. And that is going to wear on you as the fight goes on. So I think it's a very dangerous fight that Jake is taking, and I respect him for that he's going out there and testing himself.
Yeah, I'm with you on all that. I had no problem with him doing it. I guess I'm thinking more about, what do you think the chances are, just in terms of, just in terms of taking on, because I get asked about this, and I always say basically everything you just said. Listen, if nothing else, the fact that Ben Askren is used to getting hit that hard for a living. I mean, he doesn't employ his boxing more than he does because he's a much better wrestler than just about anybody he's getting in that case. That's kind of been my point. I mean, what do you think? That Dana White said he would bet $1 million that Ben Askren beats Jake Paul. You think it's worth $1 million wager if you had it?
No, I mean, this is boxing. It's the first time that Askren has done a full-blown boxing match. So, if this was an MMA fight or a wrestling match, then yeah, I'm like, bet whatever. Paul has zero to little chance of winning. But the fact that Jake takes training very seriously, and he's a good athlete and has decent power and length and range, there's always a chance he can catch Askren in the first round or two. But I do feel that if you say, hey, this round goes past 5, would you put $1 million that Askren's going to win? No problem. I feel as the fight wears on, Askren's chances go up. But just, hey, the first 3 or 4, the first 3 minutes of that fight, it could be anybody's fight. That's dangerous. That's the most opportune time that Jake Paul has to win the fight. And I think it'd be the most dangerous time for Ben Askren to take a shot when the guy's fresh, his adrenaline is flying.
Yeah.
If he lands a shot, I mean, hell, I watched McGregor land a phenomenal uppercut on Mayweather. Mayweather had the boxing pedigree and obviously the ability to withstand it, recover, improvise. There's a lot of boxers that are world-class with titles that they might not have recovered as well, and McGregor put them out. So that being said, when a fight's early on, it's kind of a coin toss.
Yeah. Yeah, my thoughts too. But obviously this has worked out, publicity-wise and I guess financially for this promotion, doing these kinds of, it seems like a combo of, in a way, it's sort of like the old Bellator approach of, we'll do the Legends fight and we'll do the blue chip fight and we'll kind of make them a main and co-main. It's sort of like, let's have the influencer involved and the publicity spectacle and all that, and we'll use that to draw attention, and then we'll also do these legit fights, right around it maybe. My old position, my old CM Punk position when he was fighting in the UFC and we were going through all that, was that I thought what should happen is we just do one every 10 years, no more than that. Anything more than that is going to get old. But once every 10 years, Frank, we have a celebrity, right? We have a celebrity fight in the UFC. But here's the kicker: we don't tell them ahead of time. Like, it's like Hunger
Games. Going to a fight and they're like, hey, by the way, we need you in the back.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give you a camp, but you don't find out sooner than 8 weeks prior. Like, it's like you're drafted in, Yeah, it's the downside of being a celebrity. Maybe like you have to be maybe like an Oscar winner or something like that, so you can accept the Oscar, and that of all the celebrities, what are the chances, right? It's just going to be one every 10 years, but it could be you. Your name is on one ping pong ball that's going in the celebrity hopper.
That's fine. I like it. Well, we
I
can
think.
just do some. I'd like to see some influencers.
Yeah. Me too. All right, we got a few more minutes because Frank's got to run from one training session to the next here. But I wanted to ask you about this, Frank, because we had the world. I don't know if you saw this video clip yet. We had the world of MMA and guns crossover. I know you like both of those. Did you see the video of the guy firing the gun off inside the MMA event?
No.
You seen this yet? Okay.
No.
Yeah, so this was in South Florida. Imagine that. There was a Rise card, Rise Fighting Championship Battle of the Warriors at the Bamboo Room in Lake Worth, Florida. Okay. And so I'm going to share the video here so you can see it on the screen. So I guess a fight broke out in the stands. We've seen that happen before. And this fella thought what he would do is fire a gun up in the air like the movies. Can you see this? Can you see it now? Okay. All right, I'm going to play it. Here we go. I think we're going to see it here in a second. Fat guy in the maroon shirt. Fat guy in the maroon shirt. Watch him. He's going to reach into a bag. He's got his bag. I just got to get this zipper undone. Where's my gun? It's in here somewhere. Hold on. This'll put a stop to everything. Damn it. Where is it?
Well, this ain't
my wife's wallet so big. Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay. So just like the movies, Frank, why didn't that work? The idea is you fire the gun up in the air and it just everybody goes dead silent. Aren't they supposed to go dead silent?
Yeah, no, not nowadays. People, I think, realize that a lot of mass shootings occur, and someone firing off a weapon is only going to cause a lot of panic, a lot of trampling. Even if that round doesn't hit somebody, trust me, in a room full of people like that, you're going to cause injuries and you're going to be liable for them. So, I mean, that was a very moronic move, but you could tell the guy wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer to begin with, because what's the point of carrying a weapon if it took you 30 seconds to get to it? I tell people that all the time. If you're a good guy, you're already behind the 8 ball. Bad guys can have their gun wherever because they're going to get their gun preemptively before a situation occurs because they're the one causing the situation. Whereas if you're a good guy, you're pretty much having to play catch up. You're in reaction mode. So the longer it takes for you to deploy your firearm, the longer, the less chance you have of surviving, to be honest.
You know what was when he shot up in the air? You know what was above him? A balcony.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I mean, luckily it's not going to probably go through the floor because, I mean, it probably was a 9mm or even a 380, that he was carrying as a compact weapon is usually the most common round, maybe even a 38 if it was a revolver. I couldn't quite tell. And most handgun rounds being rounded, bullet to ball ammo, the penetration going through the floor, it's not going to happen,
You should represent this guy. If we could get you a law license in Florida.
Well, as far as the injuries, everybody and their mother who's there, you walk out, got trampled, he's going to be paying for a lot of civil lawsuits because, little Johnny on his way out twisted his ankle and then, 30 people ran him over because everybody's going to be every man for himself mentality. As humans get, just like they say, most people don't die in a fire. You die from the trampling, everybody trying to kill each other. I mean, like the famous picture of everybody stuck in that door from that one arena or the one small venue. It's the humans around you that are the dangerous. It's the stampede.
Yep, you were talking about the station fire that the band Great White played at.
Right.
Yeah. Have we ever talked about that story before?
We have.
Yeah, because you're obviously familiar with it. Yeah. I would, over the years on my radio show, Great White's still out there. The lead singer of the band, Jack Russell, is still out there playing. And I've interviewed him before. And man, you want to talk about something that just follows you around, like it's not. I mean, there's a lot of people to blame in a situation like that, right? I mean, club owners, fire marshals.
His fault.
Yeah,
From what I
but
understand, I mean, the people that set it up,
yeah,
the people that inspected it. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that were there to blame, but as far as the band itself, I don't know. I mean, they come out and they do an equipment check. I mean, you know better than I do, but I don't think they really check their pyro guys and see what they're, whatever the other term for that would be.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. Yeah, pyro. No, that's pyro. Yeah, the pyrotechnics. That's what it was. But it's just like, every time I interviewed him after that, you could just tell that it's it's just something you can never, and probably rightfully so. I mean, those people aren't going to come back to life, but still.
I mean, the guy's human, so he's empathetic, and people died.
But it just goes to show you why there are things like fire marshals. It's the easiest thing for people to say, rules and regulations and all that kind of thing. But where money's involved, when you take away something like fire inspectors or, city code, things like that, then somebody who's going to want to make some more money by packing another couple of dozen people in a place, they're damn sure going to do it.
Well, my opinion, it's a balancing game. I mean, obviously, if you had no regulations, no restrictions, businesses don't have a sense of morality. They're out to make money. I mean, hell, if it wasn't for rules and regulations, we still have 9-year-olds working at factories,
That's right.
In America, even though I know that happens overseas, is why we ship it there. But on the flip side, I've also seen where regulation can choke down an industry. And now, at the same time, now it's like, okay, well, to start a business and it costs you $150,000 of red tape to the government before you can even, get regulated somewhere in China, in New York and whatnot. I've had friends that have opened businesses there, and they tell me nightmares. So obviously, extreme on either side is not useful to society. But I definitely think it's a balancing game. And you're right, there is a certain point where some regulation is decent.
Well, that's why you have to be involved. That's why you have to stay involved in the process. That's why everybody has to be involved in the process. That's it's like, it's like that cliche I always hate when people try to get out of an argument and they go, well, where are we going to draw the line? Well, if we do that, then where are we going to draw the line? Right there. That's where we're drawing the line. Well, if I can have sex with her when she's 18, why aren't we drawing the line there? Why not 17? Because we drew the line at 18. That's where we drew the line. Sorry. Wait a year. All right.
I always laugh at that one because, obviously, I have both conservative and liberal idealism. One of my more liberal thoughts is, I'm pro-gay marriage. I don't give a shit. As far as I don't feel it's my business to tell two adults that are both citizens that are 18 years of age that they can or cannot get married. I don't see a fight in it. Now, if your church wants to say that we don't allow them in here to get, to have a marriage, hey, man, if it's privately owned church, do what you want to do, man. You know what I mean? It's your choice. I'm not going to take that away from you either. I don't think we should be forced for you to put on a gay marriage if that goes against your thoughts. I'm okay with that too. But when people say that, they go, well, it's a slippery slope. If gay guys start getting married, what keeps you from marrying a horse? I'm all, really?
We drew because we drew a line.
That's
where we drew the line.
They're both 18 and they're both citizens in the U.S. of America. I mean, if you can vote, you can get married. You know what I mean? Hey, this is my approach. You know what I mean?
Here's my anti-regulation argument. Okay, tell you what, no official gay marriages, no official marriages at all. Because do you think that back in biblical times, marriages were official? No, they were sanctioned by a church, but it wasn't until somebody at City Hall figured out they could make money off a marriage license that they became official. So the deal I would offer is we'll just not do official marriage licenses at all. Okay. So to my conservative Christian friends, you can go home and proudly tell your wife, good news, honey, we finally got rid of gay marriage. The downside is our marriage has also been dissolved. See how that goes over.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on that note, the reason why I'm for it is because there's I think last time I read, there's like 1,400 rights that a married couple gets the minute they're married.
Yeah.
As, if I get hit by a car, my wife gets to go to the hospital and make decisions and get to come see me. If she's not my wife, she doesn't get those calls. And if I have property, who does it go to? You know what I mean? Like there's all these things as far as that come in. I mean, you hear the nightmare stories of the gay couple that have been together for 30 years. And, now someone, had an aneurysm and, the family never liked him to begin with because they didn't approve of the gay marriage. Now their loved one can't go see them or has no control. Someone told me I couldn't make decisions or see my wife. Just prepare that I'm going to prison. My kids are going to lose 2 kids that day because, you're not getting away between me and my wife. It ain't happening, So I couldn't imagine taking that away from another human being,
Yeah, that's true. And, meanwhile, somebody like Newt Gingrich is going to give them marriage advice. Dolly Parton always had the best quote about gay marriage. She said, those people have every right to be as miserable as the rest of us. All right. Let's do this, Frank. He's got to get back to training, so we're going to let Frank do that, and we will catch you next time here. Frank, real quick, though, be sure to tell everybody about American Shaman and Mitch Respect there.
Yeah, please, guys. Bella and I have mereamericanshaman.com. Go on the website, check it out. You'll see the different products that I swear by that have really helped me out of late. And you guys will be able to see my performance on the 17th, and that's definitely a piece of it. Mitch Respect, they have Kratom. I can't sing the praise of Kratom high enough on how much it's helped, my life out as far as dealing with pain pill addiction and just chronic pain as a guy who's been fighting most of his life. So check those things out for me, guys. You won't be disappointed.
For Frank Mir, I'm Richard Hearn. We'll see you right back here next time on Phone Booth Fighting.